Sudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is chapter 11, text 55. Mat karma krin mat paramo. Mad bhaktaha sangavarjitaha. Nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu. Yasa mam eti pandava. Anybody repeat?
Mat karma krin mat paramo.
Mat karma mat paramo.
Mat bhakta sangavarjitaha.
Mad bhakta sangavarjitaha.
Nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu.
Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu.
Raksa mameti pandava.
Yasa mameti pandava. Mat karma krim mat paramo.
Mat karma krin mat paramo.
Mad bhakta sangavarjitaha.
Mad bhakta sangavarjitaha.
Nirvare sarva bhuteshu.
Nirvairaha
sarva bhuteshu.
Yasa mameti pandava.
Raksa mameti pandava.
Okay. And let's read word to word meaning. Mat karma krit,
Mad karma krim,
engaged in doing my work.
engaged in doing my work.
Mat paramaha, considering me the supreme.
Considering me the
Mat bhaktaha,
Mad bhakta,
engaged in my devotional service.
engaged in my devotional service.
Ma sangavarjitaha,
Sangavarjitaha,
freed from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation.
free from the contamination of
Mental speculation. Nirvairaha,
Nirvaira,
without an enemy.
without
Sarva bhuteshu, among all living entities.
among all the
Yaha,
Yaha
one who,
one who
saha, he,
he
mam, unto me, eti, comes, Pandava, O son of Pandu. Translation and Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Okay, purport I'm not going to read because if I read it will take at least half an hour to say. It's very long purport. So what I'll do is include the points in the lecture. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Om Ajnanat Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshnavadi Bhashchadeshtarine Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So, this verse is one of the verses which is the summary of Krishna consciousness, by the way. Many of the acharyas, they comment, okay, what is Krishna consciousness? Somebody asks, this is Krishna consciousness. Now what is it? Now Krishna says, actually Krishna is, this is a complete verse, by the way. Sambandh Avidhaya Prayojan. Who is Krishna? How do we develop a relationship to him? And what do we get from developing this relationship? What is the benefit of getting this? Why do we want to have a relationship with God? That's the whole point there. So what's the benefit? Everybody is interested in benefit? Okay, here's the benefit. So Krishna is saying many concepts here. These are not words, but these are concepts. When you read Bhagavad Gita, you have to understand Gita is a conceptual book. It's not a book, it's not a religious book in one sense, because generally religion tells you, gives a list of what to do, what not to do. Just like Bible, Quran. Okay, there are many chapters. Okay, you can do this, you should not do this. Okay, this is how you should behave in the temple, for example. There are rules and regulations. But Bhagavad Gita doesn't talk about rules and regulations, by the way. It talks the principles behind rules and regulations. That's Bhagavad Gita. It's talking about the philosophy of religion. Let's put it like that. And that is why Bhagavad Gita is called as the summary of Upanishads. Now, Upanishads, if you know, they are the last part of Vedas. And they are mainly concerned with the philosophy. So Krishna is talking this principle. This principle is applicable everywhere. I'll talk about it in a moment. But here what Krishna is talking, Prabhupada explains every word of this verse in the purport. That's why the purport is very long. Now Krishna says, okay, fine. The goal of life is 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗃 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀. Okay, if you come to me, what's the benefit? What's the benefit if you have a relationship with me? Krishna says, Yaha means who. Yaha in Sanskrit means who. Yaha means one who, whoever. Sa means he. Whoever is following my instructions as it is. Whoever is having a contract with me. And the contract is whatever Krishna says, that we should do. That's a contract. If we don't do what he says, the contract is over. It's as simple as that. So Krishna says, okay, he who follows my instructions sincerely. What happens? Mam means me. Eti means come. He comes back to me. So this is the benefit of Krishna consciousness. The benefit is we go back to the spiritual world. It's a good, what do we say? Good bargain. Am I right? We have to sacrifice. We don't even have to sacrifice anything. Krishna is asking me to sacrifice our evil tendencies and our selfishness. That's a good thing. And he says, okay, I'll give you in return my spiritual word. And that's what Krishna did with Sudama. He took some flat rice from Sudama, and in the exchange of flat rice, he gave him the whole spiritual word. Now that's Krishna. So Krishna is inviting us. That's the whole point. He's inviting us, and he's saying, okay, you can come back to me. My doors are open for you. You don't have to remain in this material world, full of fear, full of isolation, full of problems. You don't have to be here. But what to do? How to develop that connection with God? That's the whole point there. How to do that? Because you see, it is said, if you want to be a friend of a king, you should be a king. Because king doesn't become friends with the beggars. That's not the norm. So if you want to become related to Krishna, Krishna is all pure. You have to become absolutely pure. That's all. What's that?
Sorry, can I interrupt you? I just wanted to ask you, you did a class 2 or 3 days ago, you said you had some books and phone time in the reception.
Yeah, we have that.
Whereabouts are they accept? I can't see anything. I'm just on my way out.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Can you just give her? You can give her. Mataji, you can take this.
Thank you.
It's a pen drive. You just. So, yeah, okay, no problem. No problem. Thank you. So mat karma krit. So that's the what I was speaking. I just got lost. What I was speaking? Yeah, Krishna is all pure, and we need to be all pure to make a connection with him, and that makes a lot of sense because Krishna is. You see, like all of us, we want to make friends with people who have the same frequency with us. Isn't it? This word frequency is very famous in the West. Frequency should match. Similarly, Krishna is here. Krishna wants to make friends with people whom he has the same frequency. Now, Krishna thinks in a particular way. He's a person. Now let's face it, he's a person. He's not light, he's not impersonal. He's a person with some feelings and with some understanding. So he wants to associate with people who think like him. And that's what we have to figure out, how he thinks. That's what is whole Krishna consciousness all about. Krishna consciousness, that's why Prabhupada named the movement Krishna Consciousness. So one of the meanings of Krishna consciousness is to be conscious of Krishna 24 hours. But another meaning is, what Prabhupada also says in many of his conversations, to be conscious of consciousness of Krishna. What about that? Krishna consciousness. To understand what is a consciousness of Krishna. Now that's very interesting thing, because people come and people take darshan of God. And Krishna is nice and he's beautiful and everything, that's okay. But pure devotees, they connect with him through consciousness. And they understand his heart, they understand his mind. That is what makes a connection. Ordinary man has no idea, and he's not even concerned about this fact, how God thinks. I mean to say, he doesn't have even an idea that whether God thinks or not, right? As normal, I mean, when we used to go to temple in India, or anybody goes to temple, we don't think about this question, whether he thinks something or not. We have no idea. We just come and take darshan and go. That's what we do, normal people. They miss the whole point of the temple. That's the whole point there. We are here. So one of the meanings of Krishna consciousness, and the true meaning, is to be conscious what Krishna is conscious about. To be able to think what he is thinking. And that is the secret of Krishna consciousness. The more you are able to know how he thinks, the more you are actually closer to Krishna. You can act in a way how he wants, you see. And that is why the first term is the mat karma krit. Mat karma krit means engaged in doing my work. And that's very interesting. Mat means my, karma means activity, work. Krit means doing. So Krishna says, okay, if you want to have a connection with me, you should do what I want. Now, what does Krishna want? That's a big question. Who will tell us? Well, the best way to know what anybody wants is ask him. That's the best way, am I right? If you want to know what I want, you should ask me. You should not ask him or him, isn't it? You ask me directly. But the whole problem is, if you come here and if you ask Krishna, he will not speak to you. He doesn't like to speak to 𝗙𝗎𝗪𝗔𝗎. Why he doesn't want to speak? Because he doesn't like us. That's not the whole point. He likes everybody. He's a friend of everyone. He's not like us, that he likes somebody, he doesn't dislike somebody. He likes everybody. But nevertheless, he will not speak to us because he is always thinking of everyone's benefit. And in his mind, he finds that it's not beneficial to us if he talks to us now. Because if he does start talking to us, there can be big problems. One of the problems is we can become proud. Because we are conditioned. Alright? And that is why it is said in Shastras, impure people should not be given power. Only Brahmanas should be given power. Brahmanas means who are pure in this, it's not caste thing. Why? Because they will misuse it, inevitably. So Krishna doesn't speak to us, otherwise we'll become proud. And pride, what's that? Pride precedes fall. How does it go? Pride comes before a fall, and then you're gone. That's one reason. Krishna has infinite reasons not to talk to you. He's infinite, isn't it? If you ask him, Krishna, why are you not talking to me? He says, okay, here is a reason. And there's infinite reasons. And all reasons are there to benefit you. That's how it goes. So, you want to ask something? Yeah, it's every five for everything. So that's the whole point there. Krishna doesn't want. One of the reasons is, of course, this is the reason that we become proud. Another reason can be he doesn't talk to us because, you know why he doesn't talk to us? Because he's very humble. That's one thing. So 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪 makes that point. He is very humble and he's very shy. And a shy person will talk to those people. If a person is very shy, he will not open himself very quickly. He wants to talk to those people who have real relationship. Am I right? They don't come forward so quickly unless they know you and you know them. So he's very shy. He doesn't want to talk to everybody. That's what 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪 makes a point. But the whole point is, one of the very important reasons is, if he does talk to us, then we should know how to talk to him and reply back. And if we don't know how to reply back, then there is a whole problem. We can do offenses. We are not trained in how to talk to him. That's the whole point there. We are not trained. So then we commit mistakes, we do offenses. So that's why Krishna is not talking to us. Now here's a problem. If Krishna doesn't talk to us, then how do we know what he wants from us? So out of his mercy, he has actually spoken this Bhagavad Gita. That's how it goes. And in Bhagavad Gita, he has already said, okay, what do I want from you? That's one thing. He has told us. In Srimad Bhagavatam, he has told us what he wants from us. That is why if we read Bhagavad Gita nicely is not a good word. Nicely is not a nice word. It's a very abstract word. If we read Bhagavad Gita in association of devotees who actually know Krishna, who are his pure devotees, then we can understand what he wants from us. We will be able to think what he is thinking. And that there's a role. That is why mat karma, Krishna says, work for me. So there's a role of association of devotees and reading scriptures. That's a role there. So we should do what Krishna wants, but that the whole point is we should also know what exactly he wants from us. And that comes from reading and associating with devotees. Okay, that's the first thing. Krishna says, okay, if you want to make relationship with me, this is the first thing you should do. You should try. You see the point. We chant his names, name, form, qualities, pastimes. That's how it goes. We chant his names, we glorify his form, sweet form, and that's devotion. But more than that, Krishna says, you have to know my heart. You should know my desires. You should know my will. That is Krishna consciousness. Knowing what is his will. What do we say? Absolute will? Or the divine will, we say in Christianity? Divine will. Actually in Bible, what is there? Let thy will be fulfilled on earth as in heaven. What's that? They sing in the prayers, no? Let thy will be fulfilled on the earth as in... let thy will be fulfilled on the heaven as on the earth. They speak a lot about the will of Lord, and that's the whole point there. So, okay, mat karma krit. The more you do something for him as he wants, the more he's happy, the more you can get connection with him. It's simple. It's simple. Like a mother. Okay, mother and child. What about that? A small child cannot speak, but the mother serves the child, isn't it? And the mother understands what he wants. Child simply cries. If he feels hungry, he cries. If he feels pain, he cries. If he wants to sleep, he cries. The mother is supposed to understand what he wants. And because the mother understands what the child wants, she is able to serve him nicely. That's the whole point with Krishna. In fact, in Vallabh Sampradaya, if you go, they advise worshipping the baby form of Krishna first. In Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we don't do that. But they advise to worship baby form. Why? Because in that form, you are supposed to understand what Krishna wants without he telling you. Because he's a baby. That's a whole Vatsalya thing there. So gopis are very expert in that. Krishna doesn't need to tell anything. They can simply understand. That is the difference between first class servant, second class servant and third class servant. A third class servant is that, this is explained in Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana. Third class servant is that who follows, who tries to follow after something is said to him. That's a third class servant. Now the second class servant is, if you tell him, he will do, but he will do that much what is told to him. Third class servant, he will try to do, sometimes he is not able to do, but he will try to do, that's okay. If he is not able to do, he will not do it. Second class servant, he will try to do everything and he will do it, make it sure it's done. But the first class servant is that who need not be told what is to be done. He will understand the desires of his master and he will complete it. Like for example, Hanuman. Hanuman understood what Ram wanted. He went to Lanka, he got the news of Sita and he burned Lanka. He met Ravan and he actually created a lot of, he actually scanned the whole map of Lanka because they wanted to attack on Lanka, so they should know the gates, how many gates and how much wall is there. He did all those things and Ram was very happy. So that's a first class servant who understands the desires of master and who can do something without being told. That is expert servant. That is mat karma krit, you see. Krishna is doing here, do work for me. Become an expert worker. You should become like Prabhupada. Prabhupada could understand what Krishna wants. Prabhupada could understand what his spiritual master wanted. Bhaktisiddhanta just told Srila Prabhupada, go to West and preach in English. Am I right? That's what he told. But Prabhupada did more than that, by the way. He went to West, he preached in English, he wrote books, he opened restaurants, he opened temples. He did so many other things. He understood what his spiritual master wanted. And that is called expert servant, expert worker. That's what Krishna says. If you want to connect to me, become expert servant, expert worker. And you see, to become expert in any subject, you have to have theory and practical both. Am I right?
Yes.
Any subject. Without practical, you don't excel. So if you want to have a PhD, if you want to become an expert in any subject, you need books, you need practical classes, and you need a good professor. Otherwise, you don't become expert. It's the same thing in Krishna consciousness. You need books, Bhagavad Gita. You need practical classes. That means you need service. And you need an expert professor. That means you need pure devotees, wise people, who can solve your questions, who can give you answers, and who can solve your queries and give you knowledge. That's mat karma krit. Okay, but then the next thing is, you might be doing something for God with some desires. That there can be a problem. Okay, now you understand what he wants from his devotees, from works. You want to do something for him, but the whole idea is you might have some desires. Okay, Krishna, I'll do this for you, and I'll do this and this and this. Yeah, I understand from your books, from your devotees. I'll make it sure it should be done. But in exchange, I want peace. Or I want happiness. I'm suffering. But that's a problem there. Because you're demanding something. As soon as you want something in exchange, that immediately turns into some official contract. It's not love. It's not love. A mother doesn't want anything from the child. A mother doesn't expect that the child will grow up and then they will look after us. They don't really think about that, isn't it? They just take care of the child, that's all. Later when they grow up, then that they might expect, that's another thing. But when the child, they don't do that. So that's a problem. So Krishna knows that this can hamper love and relationship. So he speaks something. He speaks 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀. Now mat means me. Paramaha means supreme. Technically Parama means supreme, Param. But when you combine this word with 𝗪𝗪𝗪, this means Krishna says you should serve me and you should do what I say and what I desire, considering me as the supreme goal of life. That's what he says. That means when you work for me, you should work for me and just want me and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing means nothing in exchange. If Krishna asks you, why are you serving me? Your answer should be, what should be your answer if Krishna asks you?
Did you love him?
If Krishna asks you, why are you serving me?
Did you love him? Because that's
So what you say? Okay, that's one answer. Krishna says, okay, why you are serving me? You can tell to Krishna, Krishna, is there anything worthwhile to do? That's a good answer. Or you can maybe counter question him. If he asks you, why are you serving me? You can counter question him. So Krishna, can you give any other good option? He doesn't have any option. Because he knows everything else is nonsense. Except his service, nothing makes sense. Whatever we are doing this material world, it's just for sustaining our life, that's all. It's an animalistic endeavor to sustain our life. It's not even human endeavor. Or to talk of devotion. It's simply sustaining our life. Am I right? Isn't it? So many people are working in this UK and job, everybody is doing job. But if I tell you, okay, I'll give you, so if Mr. President, who is Johnson? Who is that president of UK?
Boris Johnson.
Huh?
PM.
Who is?
Boris Johnson.
Okay,
Boris.
Johnson, yeah, Johnson. So if he says, okay, fine, you don't need to work, I'll give you 3 million pounds. Okay, 3 million pounds is enough or what? It's enough for one life? It's enough now? Okay, I don't know millions. So okay, it's enough. He says, I'll give you 3 million pounds. Will you do job? Anybody will do job if Mr. Johnson gives you 3 million pounds. I don't think so. This crap, he'll do this nonsense job. You'll take a nice home somewhere, live and put bank money in the bank and lead your life. Am I right? You'll not do job. And that's the whole point there. The whole point there is Krishna, we are doing jobs just for sustaining, that's all. There's no other purpose. In Krishna's eyes, it has no value. Zero value. Your job, your career, your piety, it's of no value. What value is in Krishna's eyes is how much you serve him. So that's why if he asks you why you want to serve him and you counter question him, Krishna, you please tell any other option. He has no option. That's all, it's over. And so one of the acharyas, actually this is not my answer by the way, one of the acharyas in South, Alvars, in the songs Divya Prabandham, there is a discussion between God and this devotee. And God asks him, I think it was Namalvar. He asks him, okay, why do you want to serve me? Why are you after me? And then Namalvar says, you're asking me, but let me ask you, do you have any other option for me? Then Krishna stopped. He can't answer anything. He just dumbfounded. That's why he's not, you see the point? That's why he's not talking to us, because we don't know proper answers. We don't know proper answers. He needs answers which gives him extreme bliss and happiness. And we don't know that art. Gopis are so expert that they can please him even without answering him. Just by actions. They speak by their actions. That's what happens in spiritual world. So that is what 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗲. Actually in English it is, you can't really make out because these two words are separate. But in Sanskrit they are together, by the way. If you read the Sanskrit verse, they are together. 𝗪�કર્મકૃત 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗲. You see the original verse. So he is making a connection. If you want to serve me only for me. So we serve God for God. That's the whole idea he's making. Make myself, Krishna says, make myself as your supreme goal. If you want anything in this world, you should want me. Nothing less than that. And that's why I was telling on the other day, you see, happiness, peace and satisfaction in devotion, they are actually traps in devotion. They can actually trap you, and they can pull you from your goal and distract you from your goal. So although happiness, peace and satisfaction we get in devotion, but if you don't know the goal of life, if you don't know that ultimately we have to attain Krishna, then what happens is we get trapped in this illusory thing, and then we lose sight of goal. That's all. That's happened. That's why he's saying. What he's saying, you 𝗪𝒃, you serve me, do my work for what? 𝗪𝒃, to attain me. He doesn't say to attain bliss, satisfaction, happiness, release from sufferings. Nothing like that. He makes it clear, 𝗪𝒃, you should want me. Simple as that. And that's why many devotees pray to Krishna. Krishna, you might give me happiness, or you might give me sorrows. Am I right? 𝗙𝗵𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀. No problem. But please keep me in your mind. And please be pleased from me. That's our whole point there. So that's why he makes the point 𝗪𝒃. Okay. Now he says, okay, fine. We are serving him for him. But then there is a problem. The problem is Maya. It's not that we'll serve him and we'll continue to serve him. There are forces which will try to stop you. You see all these movies? There are some good people and bad people, isn't it? When good people want to do something, bad people will try to stop them. It's the same thing. When we try to serve Krishna, there are forces which will try to stop you and go against you. Let's say some dark forces, or put it like that. And those forces are very strong forces. So where are those forces lying? Where are those forces? You can't see them. Well, they are in the deep recesses of your subconscious mind. They are there within you. They are there within you, and they are acting from there. So what to do with that? How to save ourselves from these forces? The name of this illusory force is called Maya, by the way. She can't tolerate anybody to walk on this path. She will not let anybody to walk on this path of devotion. She has taken a vow, I will not allow anyone to attain Krishna. That's her vow. And she's pretty pakka in her vows. So, and that's why it is said, when anybody is dying, and it's that person's last breath, at that time, even at that time, when you have just some milliseconds to die, even at that time, illusion will try to distract you. She will not leave you. She will not leave you. Maya, first of all, Maya doesn't have pity in her heart. There's no compassion, zero compassion. Zero pity. You can cry, you can do anything. She doesn't respond to that. Her only job is to stop you, somehow or the other. And you can give up, but she'll not give up. She's not like that. Haridas Thakur, she didn't give up. She came to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was quite a powerful person. He was a pure devotee, but she took a chance. She came to distract him. So she will try. So how So what is the solution for that? What is the safeguard? What is the precaution? Isn't it precaution is better than cure? Prevention is better than cure. So let's take a precaution, because she can do anything at any time. Bharat Maharaj, he fell down. Bharat, he was a great devotee. He went to forest for meditation, but he fell down. Why? Because he didn't have association of devotees. And he got attached to a deer. By the way, it's a big thing, because Bharat, he was a king of entire world. You can imagine, king of entire world. He left all his kingdom. He went to forest, and he was pretty advanced. He was on Bhava stage. If you read the books, he was on Bhava stage. When he used to chant, there were tears in his eyes, and he was staying alone in the forest. That in itself is a big thing. Have anybody of you visited forest? Well, the real forest, not this kind of forest. You can't stay for a second. When after sunset, you can even die out of fear. It's so fearful if you go to real forest. I've been there in real forest in 𝗪𝗪𝗪, above Himalayas. In the night there are voices of animals, foxes and lions. You can die. You can't even sleep out of question. But he went to the forest. So much courageous he should be. And so much faith he should have in God, and he left everything. But there he became attached to a deer. Now you can imagine, he became attached to a deer. This is complete nonsense. I mean to say, how can such an advanced person become attached to a deer? He left his chanting. He was so attached to the deer that he started playing with that deer. And he forgot his chanting. He forgot everything. How can this happen? We don't know. Will you do like that? Will you do like that? If I mean to say, none of us can imagine if there's some deer, we'll not become so attached that we leave our chanting. We all. How? Yeah, but he did. Now what happened to him? The only problem with him was that he didn't have association of devotees. There was nobody to tell him, hey, Mr. Bharat, you're going wrong. Because when you go wrong, you don't realize you're going wrong. That's the whole problem. That's illusion all about. Illusion will not only misguide you, but it will also take away your discriminatory power. You will not even understand you are being misguided. That's what illusion does. Actually, that's the first thing illusion will do. That's the first thing Maya will do. She will steal all your intelligence. And then she will misguide you. Because if she starts misguiding you, then you can use your intelligence and help yourself. But she will do the opposite. And how does she does that? She will take all the association of devotees. That's all. So Mad Bhakta, that's what Krishna says. The prevention is Mad Bhakta. Take association. Mad means my, Bhakta means devotees. Be in an association of my devotees, even though it might seem hard. Sometimes it's difficult to associate with devotees. Sometimes it's easy to associate with non-devotees and difficult with devotees, isn't it? It seems like that, at least. There are many problems and this and that and that and that and that. But no problem. No matter how much problems are there, be with devotees. That's the whole point there. Because there's a difference. No matter how much a devotee... No matter how much a devotee is bad or politicizing or cunning, still his association is preferred to a non-devotee who might be very good and gentleman and completely perfect person. Why? Because a devotee will never tell you, don't serve Krishna, even though he is complete nonsense devotee. No, there's a term nonsense devotee, am I right? There's a term there. Devotee is not nonsense, but sometimes there are devotees who are complete nonsense. Srila Prabhupada says, crazy, lazy devotees. Prabhupada said one of his letters. So there are devotees like that. So, but he will never tell you don't serve Krishna, am I right? On the contrary, if a devotee doesn't like you and he wants to actually really irritate you or whatever, I mean to say, take some revenge or whatever in his mind, the first thing he'll do is he'll make sure that you are engaged more in service of Krishna. Am I right? To actually mess you up, he will say, okay, now you have to deity worship, washing pots, cleaning floors, and this and that and that. He will increase your service. That's how they do. Am I right? That's how they do. If a devotee doesn't like you, he will make sure that you are doing more service for Krishna. But for a non-devotee, there's a problem. Even if he is the perfect gentleman, the whole problem is he will never tell you serve Krishna. Rather, he'll tell you don't serve. So there's a whole problem there. That's why Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, association with any kind of devotee, even third class devotee, even a devotee who doesn't know anything, that's much, much better than a non-devotee who is scholar, who is gentleman, who have good qualities. It's a problem there because he will take you away from Krishna. So that's why Krishna says Mad Bhakta, associate with my devotees. Now my devotees can be third class, second class, first class. If you can associate with first class devotees, that's the best. But every devotee has something to make you learn. That's the whole point. Even new devotees. Association with new devotees, you learn many things. And you know what's the best thing you learn with associating with new devotees? What's the best thing you learn?
They're always humble.
Okay, one thing is enthusiasm,
Yeah.
because they are very enthusiastic. As people advance in devotion, their enthusiasm goes down. New devotees are enthusiastic. We were enthusiastic, but as you advance, somehow I don't know what happens. It should not happen, but it happens. So enthusiasm we can learn. That's a good thing. Anything else?
They always think of them as the lowest because they're new, they're young.
Okay, that you can learn to be in your position. Anything else you can learn?
Eagerness.
That's enthusiasm. The same thing. Anything you can learn, anything else. I mean to say,
They're very curious.
okay, fine. I mean to say, if you are enthusiastic,
Yeah,
if you are enthusiastic more than them, then you don't learn enthusiasm. If you are a really good devotee and you've spent many years and you're enthusiastic, then they're learning enthusiasm from you. Still, they have something to teach you.
They don't see the faults.
How was that?
They don't see the faults.
They don't see?
Faults.
Yeah, they don't see any faults, but that's due to their immatureness. Sometimes there is a fault and we might have to see. At least in management we might have to see. Otherwise how you manage. So there is something we can always learn from new devotees. Even if you are Paramahamsa, they have something to teach. And you know what they have to teach? The something what they have to teach is, we can learn what we should not do. Learn from others' mistakes. You got this? So new devotees, they'll be doing so many mistakes. And you can learn from them, these mistakes I should not do. So in other words, everybody has something to teach you. All kind of devotees, provided you know what to learn from them. That's the whole point. So that's a very nice thing. So that's why Krishna says, Mad Bhakta, association of my devotees will never go waste, provided you know what to take from whom. And that's an art. Association with devotees is an art, by the way. You can also associate with nonsense devotees. What do you learn from them? Nonsense. You know nonsense devotees. There's a term nonsense. Do you know what is nonsense devotees?
How not to do nonsense.
Nonsense devotees means who are always on everybody's case. You know this? Who are always angry on everybody's case and this and that and that, and then they're like, what to do with them? You know? There are people like that. So, but you can learn from them. You can learn from them. You can use them to develop the quality of patience. That's all. They're actually helping you to develop the quality of patience. And Krishna has purposefully kept these kind of people in the temple, in the movement, to help others to develop quality of patience. That's all. Krishna is in control. If he wants, he can just get everybody out. And I mean to say, we sometimes we say, so there are so many problems in the movement or any movement, any temple, because there are people. Where there are two people, there are problems. So there are so many kinds of people, so many problems. Why Krishna is not solving any problem? Why so many problems are happening with me? And it's such a pure movement and still there are problems. Why it is? Well, everything has a purpose. Krishna has put problems. Krishna has put every kind of devotee so that we become mature. And we know and we develop many qualities. And that is why it is said, if you want to become tolerant, what's the best way to become tolerant? Anybody?
Put yourself in the worst.
To be? Okay. Yeah, to associate with somebody who is intolerant. That's how it goes. If you're always surrounded by people who are flattering you and who are your friends, you never develop quality of tolerance. Alright? You don't do that. And that is why people who are congregation devotees, who are living in their homes, they are advised to actually spend some time in the temple. Please spend some time in the temple. They are advised because they're always in the home, they come to temple, chant, go back in the home, chant nicely. Nobody is there to tell anything to them. It's their house, they're the boss, they're Krishna of their home, and their wife is like Radha of their home. So, nothing happens. They develop no qualities. And that is why all Bhakti Santa used to say that for householders, come for 2 days in temple and stay. Stay. So then you interact with so many devotees. Many devotees will tell you something, this and that, and you will get hurt. But